Hey all, Jacksonation here. Welcome back. Today we have a fun video for you guys. We have our Akora TCG attributes tier list. This has been requested quite a bit, and I know I'm a bit late to the party, per se. I haven't posted in a hot minute. I know. Lower your pitchforks. Lower them. Come on. Be nice. But basically, we're just going to be going over what I think all the Akora attributes are ranked. And this is going to be incredibly biased. If you thought, I want to spark discussion, not a dumpster fire. Can we all agree not to burn me at the stake? Is that an acceptable term? Okay, good. All right. Now that we have that established, let's get into it. So first and foremost, we have the dark attribute. So, dark attribute is... I am a big fan of the dark attribute. We have Discord user Dark Suicune, arguably one of the best players at the attribute. We have basically its whole game plan utilizing the Dark Zone. You have cards like Crossroad Deal to get your Akora in there, as well, or a Stage 3 Akora in there, and then cards like Dark Bidding in order to play that onto your active Akora. So you have some strategy. You have some strategy also Forbidden Alchemy to gain the attack power of any Akora in the Dark Zone. Overall, a very, very solid strategy. It's been described as a kind of a glass cannon, though. So, debatable. But I think Dark is a very, very solid A-tier attribute. From there, we're moving on to Divine. Alright, so where do I rank Divine? Divine's like near unstoppable if you have no outs to it, right? Divine's just going to keep getting counters. They're going to use Divine Offering to negate any attacks they have. And they're just going to be dealing usual shenanigans worth of damage. So I'm going to put Divine in B because it's just very... Like, if you have an Anti-Alchemy or a Time Reversal... Or what's that new multi-attribute from Trials? You know what I'm talking about. And there are outs. There are outs to Divine for sure, and while some of them are seeing less play, if you know what you're going up against, it's fairly easy to have some precautions against it. So, yeah. After that, we have Electric. Electric ain't bad. I was reading the article for the GU season, the season 4, right, the competitive season results. Seems like everybody in the top 3 was using Electric to some capacity or really liked the Electric attribute. I've definitely played against my fair share of Electric players, so... It's very nice. It's a very, very good attribute. As a result, I think Electric deserves a nice A tier. Next up, we have Fire. Fire's pretty good. I know during Aphelium, Fire saw a lot of play. The Fire attribute. Basically, I think, for the most part, doing a lot of burn damage. There's a lot of cards now burning you, the opponent, whenever they do certain actions, be it playing a shard, starting their turn, things like that. So, Fire is very solid, but I don't think it's necessarily as strong as the other attributes. It does have Explosion, which allows you to destroy your opponent's Akora. So, in that sense, it can sometimes pull off the alternative win condition, especially if you're playing against a dark player. You have that chance to, if they are using, say, I'm trying to think, but you get the idea. It's definitely very potent in terms of the alternative win conditions there. It's very balanced. I'm going to put it in B. Next up, ice. Ice, baby. Ice is one of my favorite attributes. I don't like the stall game plan per se. Like, I definitely think beat down, like, a more aggro decks are more fun to play, but I just kind of find myself gravitating towards more like combo based, like you're building to something over the course of many turns. And so I end up playing ice a lot, and I just generally enjoy the attribute. So for that, I think ice is very mid, but it hasn't seen a lot of competitive play, unfortunately. So I think for that, I am going to put ice in C. Next up, we have nature. The nature attribute that's relying on poison counters, things of that, cards like that. And it's not an inherently bad strategy, but look, guys, I'm going to put nature in D, because if you read a lot of those nature cards, they make you, like, gain half of this and add it to that, and you end up with, like, soul points that are just really goofy numbers. It's a lot of math for nature. And let me tell you guys, trigonometry's a bitch. I'm not a math guy, so I'm going to put nature in D. Next up, guys, let me tell you a little something about spirit, okay? The spirit attribute is very goofy, all right? I have not played the spirit attribute. And again, also all of these, right, I have very limited tournament experience. I have not participated in too many official events for the duration of this more recent Trials of Akithia format. But I do know that Panda Force and his patented spirit decks are very, very nasty, okay? Spirit's mean. Spirit's really mean because it's like Divine, but you don't necessarily, you're not relying on counters to do your negates. It's, you have your half planes, your spirit tokens. You have so many ways to gain attack points and prevent attacks from getting through. I feel like Spirit is deserving of S tier for attributes at the current time, especially with new additions to the attribute, such as, let's see, Brain, Function. Oh, that's the new Spirit token, Kyo. If I'm saying that correctly. I have a stack of Spirit cards in front of me. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? Isn't it Kyo? It's probably Kyo. It might be Kyo. It's Kyo. Okay, I was right. Alright. Well, anywho, moving on, we have the Warped attribute. So, right now, Warped is in a very interesting place. We had Warped Crusaders with the release of the Warped Seraph Zera deck, and that was that a lot of people ended up picking that up. That saw a lot of play, a lot of people upgrading that, building Warped, especially during that format where Warped Ocean Cry was one of the most potent strategies in the game before the banning of that, of Warped Ocean Cry. And similarly, right, Divine, I should have probably mentioned it when I was at Divine, but the Divine attribute struggled a little bit during that period with the banning of both Empress Island and Changing Religion. I think it's definitely bounced back since then, as people have adapted their lists to compensate for the absence of those cards. But Warped has kind of had to rely on, I want to say it was a Warped Beast Within, I believe, in order to Relic up at the cost of some Alchemy Essence. It's, I don't think I've seen too many results of Warped doing incredibly in more recent events. But it does have popularity. I will give Warped that. But unfortunately, I am going to give this a D tier. Next up, we have the Water attribute. Water's very nice. I have been playing against some Water players, and especially with the new Furu from Eternal Echoes, Water's going to get even more powerful as we see some of these older Akoras from Spellbound Wings come back with newer abilities. We're going to see some of those decks retrained a little bit, because you still have the synergy with some of those Akora specific alchemies. So, Water, deactivating zones, it's control. But the thing about Ice is, right, even with frozen shards are still in play, right? Freezing cards with Ice is a little less powerful than deactivating a zone entirely. Although they have similar effects, Water's just a bit more effective at that. And as a result, I think I will be putting Water in A. But, yeah, I'd say that's pretty balanced. Again, I'm sure I'm going to get... I'm going to have a SWAT team at my door. I'm sure most of the community's going to have something to say. But this is my opinion, okay? Okay. Hopefully that kind of gives some players a relatively decent idea about the scaling of the power of some of these attributes and kind of what their game plans are. That was kind of the goal of this video. But yeah, if you enjoy this kind of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to see some correlated content, please go to my Instagram at Jackson the Alchemist. As well, if you want to support the channel financially, help me purchase some packs or product to open here on the channel, please go to the Patreon link, all in the description. And if you want to refute some of my claims made in this video, the comment section is always open. I think that's all for now. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.